It's a dangerous love affair. Only thing that's on my mind is who's gonna run this town tonight.
Yeah, I say that we are.
Who's gonna run this town tonight?
All black, everything. And our girls are blackbirds. Riding with they diligence. Kid more than death if you boys really, really know. Cause now we squared up. Hold up.
Who's gonna run this town tonight? Who's gonna run this town tonight?
Yeah. Hold up. Yeah. Hold up.
Who's gonna run this town tonight? Who's gonna run this town? We gonna run this town.
Yeah, good morning. Hit the thumbs up if you're excited for another full day of college football. Week 2 of the 2023 college football season gets underway today. We'll start the show in just a second. Hit the thumbs up, dummies. Yeah, good morning. It's Uncle Lou here. Yep, that's right. It is me, Uncle Lou, live on LouTube for you. Thanks for watching. Welcome to the Kickoff Show. How's everybody doing? Happy Saturday morning. Hope everybody's ready for a great day of college football. I know I is. We got some great games today. We'll go over them all. We're going to do the usual. Pull all the games up, go through them, figure out what's coming on, when it's coming on, what channel it's coming on, figure out what we need to watch, when we need to watch it, where we need to watch it, all that kind of stuff. We'll take a look at all the latest odds, lines, spreads, all that kind of stuff. Figure out, try to figure out a way to either make or lose some money betting on college football today. That should be good. Should be great. And, of course, the rigged wheel coming up at the end of the show. You guys are doing good so far. Y'all are 2 for 2, which is unusual. Normally, y'all don't have much luck. But so far this season, y'all are 2 for 2. Shout out to Mayhem Matthew. He won back in week 0. And then he got his pick right on top of that. Won himself some money. And shout out to Colby, who won the rigged wheel last week and then got his pick right. Also won himself some money. Shout out to Mayhem Matthew and Colby. Somebody will be a lucky winner today at the end of the show. Every Super Chat or Cash App. No, not Super Chat. Sorry. Cash App or PayPal. Not Super Chat. Cash App or PayPal. Every Cash App or PayPal you send, we will enter your name up on the rigged wheel. You get your name on the wheel one time. You can't get your name on the wheel multiple times. Nice try, dummies. Nice try. There's the Cash App and the PayPal link. Those links are also in the description. Again, at the end of the show, I will go through all the Cash Apps and PayPals. So I promise if you send it, I will get it. We'll go through it at the end of the show. We'll add everybody's name to the wheel. We'll spin the wheel, and we'll pick some winners. We'll do 2 winners again today. We did 2 last week. We'll do 2 again this week. And remember, whoever wins the rigged wheel, if they get their pick wrong, their winnings roll over to next week. But so far, y'all are 2 for 2. Unbelievable. I really can't believe it. The first year I did it, I think y'all went something like 1-13. Y'all only got 1 pick right all season. Last season, you only got 3 or 4 out of the 14 or 15 weeks we did it. But y'all are off to a great start this year, 2 for 2. Again, shout out to Mayhem Matthew and Colby, our week 0 and week 1 winners, and good luck to everybody today as well. How y'all doing? Y'all ready for some college football today? Man, we got some great games coming up today. I actually think there's there's definitely a better slate of games today than there was last Saturday. I don't know about the entire week's worth of games. If you look at all the week 1 games from Thursday through Monday, we had a lot of good ones. But Saturday, they're so spread out in week 1 because you start on Thursday and go all the way through Monday. This week, all the games are concentrated today on Saturday. We did have a game last night, Kansas and Illinois. Man, Kansas looked good. It's going to be like last year with Kansas. If they stay healthy, they're going to win a lot more games than they lose. It's just a fact. That quarterback is really, really good. They've got some running backs that look good. Their defense looked good. Now, albeit that was against Illinois, and it turns out that Illinois might have taken a step or 3 back this season from last season. Last season, Illinois had one of the best 5 defenses in the country, won a lot of games. I don't know if that's going to be the case this year. They barely beat something called Toledo in week 1, and then yesterday's game, I don't know if you would call yesterday's game a blowout. I think it ended with an 11-point win or something by Kansas. But the game was never really that close. I mean, it never really felt like Illinois had any chance in that game at all. Kansas was clearly the much better team. And if they could stay healthy, particularly Jalen Daniels, they're going to be a problem for a lot of teams in the Big 12. They looked really good. Really good. They just have to avoid those injuries. They don't recruit in the top 10, 15, 25, 35. They don't have the depth that, some of your upper echelon teams have. But if they can stay healthy, they'll be a fun team to watch this year. So shout out to those of you who hung out last night. We live streamed during that game last night, had a good time. I lost money on that game. I had Illinois plus 3.5. Didn't work out. Didn't work out. Didn't work out. And now, as lopsided as that game was, Illinois did have a chance with about 4 or 5 minutes to go. They got the ball back down 11. You know, they had just scored and got a 2-point conversion to cut it to 11. I needed them to score and get another 2-point conversion. That would have cut it to 3, and my 3.5 would have been good. But didn't work out. Uncle Lou lost. It is what it is. What are you going to do? You can't win them all. In fact, in my case, you can barely win any of them at all. Anyway, we're going to take roll. Make sure you hit the thumbs up here at the start of the show. That is a big help to the live stream, and it's literally the easiest thing you can do to help support the show and the channel. It takes no effort, time, energy. It takes literally nothing on your part just to do this on your phone or click on your mouse or whatever you're doing. Go ahead and hit the thumbs up if you're excited for another full day of college football. I know I am. And like I said, we've got an amazing slate of games. We're going to pull those games up in a second and go through them game by game. We're going to take roll, too. David Byers and Gator MF, thank y'all for hitting the super chats at the start of the show to help support the show today. I really appreciate that. David says, will UK be 5-0 when they play UGA? Well, let's just look at their schedule and see. They looked good. They somehow managed to pass the ball, which is something Kentucky hasn't been able to do in quite some time. And I really like that running. What's that running back's name they have? Shoot. Is it Ray Davis? Is that his name? He looked really good. I might be getting that name wrong. Let's see what we got here for Kentucky. Nut State. They played Nut State and won 44-14. I believe they were trailing 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. So a slow start for Kentucky last week, but pulled away 44-14 over Nut State. Looks like Nut State will be starting 0-2. They play Georgia today. Eastern Kentucky, you should get that win. Akron, you should get that win. Florida, I think you're better than Florida, but I don't think that's a guaranteed win. I think it'll come down to that game. From what I've seen from Vanderbilt, well, I want to see Vanderbilt today at Wake Forest. I have a feeling Wake Forest will win that game. I want to see what Vandy looks like today, but you'll be favored. You'll definitely be favored in this Vanderbilt game. I would assume you'll be favored in the Florida game, too. That's obviously the toughest of your first 5 games. You could be 5-0 by the time that game's played. But remember, Georgia doesn't play anybody, so you probably won't be ranked when this game is played. Georgia doesn't play anybody. Let's keep that in mind. Georgia doesn't play anybody. So even if you're 5-0, here's what will happen. If you're 5-0, then all week long, I'll be hearing about how you're going to come to Athens and beat Georgia. The game will get played. Georgia will win by 4 touchdowns. And then the next week, everyone will tell me how Kentucky's not any good again. That's how that'll go. We've all been down that road numerous times, have we not? Yes, we have. Of course we have. Gator MF, thank you for the super chat. He says, Kansas, are they good? If so, are they top 25, top 15? Well, they're definitely, they're not top 15 right now. No. You got to beat something besides Illinois to be top 15 if you're Kansas. They got close to the top 15 last year. They started 5-0, remember? Kansas started 5-0 last year, but then they went 1-6 in their next 7 games. Again, that was after some injuries, most notably to their quarterback. We'll have to see how the rest of the day goes today, but as of right now, I probably wouldn't put Kansas in my top 25 unless a bunch of teams like ranked 18 through 25 lose today. Then I probably won't have Kansas ranked after week 2. But if they keep winning, they'll be ranked. That's what happened last year. I think it was week 3 or 4 before they got ranked last year. And then who remembers that game last year between Kansas and Duke? It was weird, but Kansas and Duke played. They were both ranked. They were both undefeated. They were like both 4-0 or something. It was just weird. It was one of the bigger games of the week, and it was Kansas and Duke in football. So I don't know. We'll see. Now, obviously, if they keep winning, they'll be ranked. I don't know that they'll be ranked after this week. But they look like a good team. I mean, they look like a pretty good team. If they can stay healthy, they're gonna. They're gonna win 7 or 8 games at a minimum, I would imagine, in the Big 12. Especially when you look at what Texas Tech and Baylor did last week. They don't look very good. They probably wouldn't beat a Texas or an Oklahoma. Probably won't beat, and I don't even know. I haven't looked at I don't know who they play. They don't play all these teams. Kansas State. I don't know. We'll see. All right, let's take roll. Let's see who's here. Who is here? Who's here today? Peninsula P is here. Jarrett Howard. James Fonda. Not related to Jane Fonda. Not even spelled the same. Octavian, what's up, buddy? Octavian, good luck against McNeese State today, buddy. Good luck. McNeese State got blown out by something called Tarleton State. Yeah. Florida should win big today. Of course, it would be hilarious if they lost, but I don't see that happening. They should roll today against McNeese. Carson Cood, Bama Fanatic, Baylor Man, Tyler Gilbert, Junkyard Dog, JR, Eric Odom, the DGD Podcast, Sprite Man 2005, Cinnamon Roll Greg, Carolina Jack Pot says McNeese State is where Dusty Rhodes went. I think he's a wrestler from back in the day. BA, what's up, buddy? Hey, buddy. Hey, BA. Hey, buddy. Michael Campbell. Nicholas Tarial, I think. Sir UGA. Ben Mantooth. Richie Rich. Parker. Twisted Rooster. Adam Hurley. Liberal Destroyer. I don't know if he destroys liberals or if he's a liberal who destroys. I'm not sure. It might be neither. It's likely neither. Carson Beck for Heisman. Let's not get carried away there. Let's not get carried away with the Carson Beck for Heisman. Come on. Real American Studios. Seminole Seth. DJ Bucci. Comic Dude. Zeus Almighty. Raj. Oh, Raj. Jesus Christ Home Slice. I feel like I haven't seen you in a while. Maybe I just didn't notice. Tim G, dog alum watching from Bangkok. All right, now stay away from them lady boys over there. That ain't why you're there, is it? Certainly hope not. Certainly hope not. That would be alarming, sir. That would be alarming. They must not use Spectrum in Bangkok. I don't know why anybody had Spectrum. I don't know why anybody had Spectrum a month ago. I definitely don't know why anybody still has Spectrum today. I don't understand it. I don't understand anybody that still has cable. I don't get it at all. It makes little to no sense to me. Makes little to no sense to me. Who have Georgia played, Woo? Georgia don't play nobody. You know that. Georgia never plays anybody. Who had Georgia played, Woo? Who had they played? Who had they played? Wait, Woo! Why is it not working? Work! Who had Georgia played, Woo? Yeah. Who had Georgia played, Woo? Where they played? We're week 2. Nobody's played nobody. Florida State goes out and beats the hell out of LSU. I got a million comments telling me how, LSU ain't no good now. That's how it goes. Welcome to the internet, Florida State fans. Welcome to the internet. You beat a top 5 LSU team just so people can turn around and tell you that LSU's not any good. I love the internet. I love the internet. It's a weird place out here. Nicholas, thank you for the super chat. He says, a Buckeye fan in the chat thinks Indiana was a good win just because they blew out Indiana State. What? Stop. Will you see anything as pathetic as that today? Yeah, well, yeah, I will. Unfortunately, I'll see a lot of pathetic comments today, but no, Indiana's not any good. Indiana's not any good. Ohio State will get it figured out, I'm sure, but there's no way to twist what happened offensively in week 1 for Ohio State. It was not good. You have 19 NFL wide receivers. You throw 0 touchdown passes. The game ends, and half the fan base wants McCord benched and Devin Brown in the game. The week goes along. The head coach can't tell you who the starter is. We're going to play both QBs again, he keeps saying. I mean, so, like, there's an issue there with the Ohio State offense. Doesn't mean it can't get worked out, but it better get worked out by week 4. It better get worked out by week 4. Rudy's going to, well, you know what they're going to do. They're going to treat you like an altar boy. That's what they're going to do. If you don't get it, if Ohio State doesn't get their shit figured out by week 4, Rudy's going to treat them like an altar boy. D4 said, just rolled into Tuscaloosa. Hook them. Yeah, y'all have fun at the game today. That's the game to be at today. If you, as a college football fan, if you can go to any game today, that'd be the one to go to. Thank you, D4. Y'all have fun. Be careful. Carter, thank you for the super chat. He says, rooting for a BYU loss today. Go Utes. Yeah, well, you root for a BYU loss every day. The Bicycle. Shout out to the Bicycle College. They're in a conference this year. We'll see how that goes. I don't think it's going to go very well, but we'll see. We'll see. Zach, thank you for the super chat. He says, Emory Doodoo Jones gets bullied by Pitt today. I don't know about that. Which quarterback in college football accounted for the most touchdowns last week? Does anybody know? Was it Shedeur Sanders? No, it wasn't. It's not Shedeur Sanders. It was not Shedeur Sanders. Which quarterback in college football last week accounted for the most touchdowns? Who knows? Who can tell me? Octavian, you ought to be able to tell me. Man, what a shame it is Florida doesn't have Emory Jones anymore. What a shame. Octavian, what if Florida still had Emily Jones instead of Graham Mertz? Wouldn't that be something? Emory Jones accounted for 7 touchdowns last week. I think that's going to be a good game today, Cincinnati and Pitt. I think it's going to be a good game. Pitt's favored, but I like Cincinnati in the points there. We'll see. We'll see if Emily Jones can go off again today while Florida sits around and piddly-doos with something called Graham Cracker Mertz. Imagine you're a Florida fan. You got to watch Graham Cracker Mertz stumble around for 4 quarters while simultaneously knowing that Emily Jones accounted for 7 touchdowns last week at Cincinnati. Unbelievable. Florida fans are down bad, real bad. The Big Ten's down bad, too. Did you see Illinois get humiliated by Kansas last night in football? Wow. Man, the Big Ten is down bad. Purdue lost to a Group of 5 team, won the Big Ten West last year, goes out and loses to a Group of 5 team last week. Wow. Illinois gets humiliated by Kansas on national television on a Friday night when it's the only game on, so people were actually watching it. Jeez. The Big Ten's in rough shape. Oh, boy. Thank y'all for hitting the super chat. Let's look at today's games. Don't forget about the rigged wheel coming up at the end of the show. Super chat or PayPal. Not super chat. Why do I keep saying that? Cash App or PayPal will get your name on the rigged wheel. At the end of the show, we'll spin the wheel. If the wheel lands on your name, you get a chance to win yourself some money. The Cash App and the PayPal links are in the description of the video. I'll post them in the comments section there. All right, let's look at today's slate of games. Let's try that. Let's see how that works. Or if it'll work. Looks like it might work. All right, like I mentioned last night, Illinois at Kansas, 34-23 was your final score. Jalen Daniels looked really good for Kansas. That running back, too, what was his name? Something Neal. He looked pretty good, too. Anyway, congratulations to Kansas. Big win over Illinois there. Indiana beat Indiana State. I guess Ohio State's going 100-0 and winning the World Cup now. It's amazing. All right, let's look at today's games. Vanderbilt at Wake Forest. I know nobody cares about this game, but Uncle Lou does. I've been on this Vanderbilt thing all offseason. Not that I think they're doing anything really meaningful, but The over-under for the number of wins on Vanderbilt this season was 3.5. I just thought that was too low, so I bet over 3.5 wins for Vanderbilt in the offseason. They're halfway there. They got 2 wins. They're 2-0. But it feels like this is one of those games where they may need to win it. They're going to I forget who their fourth non-conference game is against, but they'll beat that team. Whoever it is, Vanderbilt should beat them. So if Vanderbilt were to win today, that would put them at 3 wins, and I would be very confident on them then winning one more game. If they lose today, then they've got to win that fourth non-con game to get to 3 wins, and then they've got to win one SEC game, which, of course, would be less likely. We'll see. Wake Forest is favored. I think Wake Forest will win. But because I'm a sick individual and I have a disease, I did pick Vanderbilt and the points in that game. I did pick Vanderbilt and the points. That one comes on at 11 a.m., kind of a weird start there, 11 a.m. Eastern. So no one's going to be watching that game until midway through the second quarter. If you have a choice between doing anything else or watching this game, you're probably going to be doing something else, like watching College Game Day or whatever the case. So nobody will be watching the first quarter and a half of that game. But Vanderbilt at Wake Forest, 11 a.m. on the ACC network. Nut State at Georgia comes on at noon. Georgia's a 42-point favorite. I wouldn't touch that game with a 10-foot pole. Georgia's been, in the last, I think, 2 years, it's either 2 or 3 years, Georgia's been a 40-point favorite or more 6 times, and they've only covered the spread once. Obviously, Georgia could beat Nut State 50 or 60 or 70 to nothing if they wanted to, but that's not generally the goal for these highly ranked teams when they play somebody like this. You know, you get the starters in, you let them run a few series, you get a 3 or 4 touchdown lead by halftime. You take all the starters out, you put the second string in, then you put the third string in, and then by the fourth quarter, you're playing the woozies and the walk-ons. So I don't know. Now, I wouldn't bet Ball State either. I just wouldn't bet the game at all. There are some teams that I would be more comfortable betting spreads that high on, but Georgia's not one of them. Georgia's more likely to beat an SEC team by 40 when they're favored by 20 than they are to beat Nut State by 45 when they're favored by 42, in my opinion. So I wouldn't bet that game, but Georgia will roll. 12 o'clock on the SEC network. And, of course, I'll be streaming all the noon games today, or streaming at noon today. So we'll wrap this show up around 10:45 or 11, and then I'll be back on at noon. So if you're going to be watching any of these noon games, come hang out with us in the comments section here on the channel. We have a really good time during the streams of these games. So, yeah, Ball State at Georgia, 12 o'clock on the SEC network. Youngstown State at Ohio State. Should be an opportunity for Ohio State to get that offense rolling today. Will the wide receivers have any touchdown catches today? I'll say yes. But they had 0 last week, though. Not a single touchdown pass. How do you have 19 NFL wide receivers in 2023, and you play something called Indiana, and first of all, you only scored 2 touchdowns? Yikes. How many did Indiana State score? 1. Well, Ohio State's twice as good as Indiana State, I guess. And 0 touchdown passes. I don't know. They should fix that problem today, though. Ohio State should win big. Penn State's playing Delaware. Another nothing game. This one's interesting. Notre Dame on the road at NC State, 12 o'clock on ABC. Notre Dame off to a hot start, but they've played 2 really bad lower classification teams, Navy and then Tennessee State, an FCS team. And Notre Dame absolutely rolled, and they looked really, really good. And I think they are really, really good. Sam Hartman looks great at quarterback, the transfer from Wake Forest. Notre Dame's running game appears to be clicking on all cylinders. Estime is an absolute beast. Their offensive line looks good. They've got a wide receiver or 2 that's looked good so far. Their defense has played well in both games, held Navy to 125 yards rushing. Obviously, this is a step up in competition for Notre Dame. First Power 5 opponent of the year on the road at NC State. I expect Notre Dame to win and cover. How much were they favored in this game? Only 7.5. Notre Dame should win this game by a couple of touchdowns, I would think. But this will be a lot of people, I think's first time watching Notre Dame if they watch it today. I feel like not a lot of people paid attention to Week 0. If you did pay attention to Week 0, you probably watched some of the Notre Dame Navy game. Nobody watched any of the Notre Dame game. There's more people watching this show right now than watched any of the Notre Dame game last week against Tennessee State. But so I feel like this will be a lot of people's first time seeing Notre Dame this year. We'll see how they do. I expect them to win comfortably on the road at NC State. Utah at Baylor doesn't seem nearly as interesting today as it did 2 weeks ago. Baylor with a humiliating loss in Week 1 and honestly just looked terrible. Utah, of course, beat Florida back in Week 1, and they played on Thursday. So Utah's had 3 extra days or 2 extra days to recover and prepare and plan for this game. Will Cameron Rising play today? You know what? Has that even been announced? I don't know if there's a Utah man in the chat, but Cam Rising, of course, didn't play in Week 1. Neither did that tight end, Queethy or whatever the fuck his name is. I don't name these people. So everybody that keeps commenting on my videos telling me how to pronounce people's names or telling me that I pronounced somebody's name wrong, look, I didn't name these people. So that's not on me. You know, people make it their life's mission to have the most unpronounceable name possible, then get mad when people mispronounce their name. That's not my problem. So we'll see if any of them play today for Utah, but I expect Utah to win that game. Noon on ESPN. Kansas State hosts Troy. Nebraska at Colorado. I think this is the big noon kickoff again today on Fox. Nebraska at Colorado. Nebraska lost a close one on the road to Minnesota back in Week 1. Colorado hit a three-pointer late in the second half of that one and won 45-24 or 45-42 in a track meet game. Where not only was defense optional, it was just non-existent. Neither team had any defense at all. It was like an old school Big 12 game from 4 or 5 years ago when every single Big 12 game used to be like, 50-45 or something. Neither team gives a shit about defense or is any good at it. Colorado and TCU. This will be interesting though. Nebraska, I think, is going to try to slow this game down like as much as possible because there's just no way Nebraska can keep up with Colorado's offense at all. Now, I do think Nebraska's got a better defense than TCU. I don't think Colorado State's going to score 45 today. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is throwing 500 yards today. And some of that has to do with Nebraska's defense. Some of it has to do with what I think Nebraska is going to do offensively. They're a run-first team. They play some fullback there. I think Nebraska is going to try to slow this game down, limit the number of possessions. I think that's a big reason, too. I don't expect Colorado to put up the same type of numbers they put up last week. And, of course, Nebraska is winning by 40 or 50 points without a problem. I'll take Nebraska on that one. Colorado, no good. Delaware State at Army. Purdue at Virginia Tech. My God. Is there a worse possible I don't know if there's a worse possible game they could give us than Purdue at Virginia Tech. This is horrendous. Purdue at Virginia Tech. If you're watching that game, you got problems. Even if you're a Purdue or a Virginia Tech fan, I wouldn't watch that trash. Good God, these are two horrible fucking teams. I wouldn't go within 100 miles of that game. As far as who wins that game, I don't know. But whoever watches it loses. That I do know. South Carolina State at Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech trying to get their first win after a disappointing second half collapse against Louisville back in Week 1. James Madison at Virginia. Boy, the ACC could be in trouble here. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see James Madison win that game. I would not be at all surprised to see James Madison win that game. The ACC is not very good, is it? I don't think so. Charleston Southern at Clemson. Another team looking for their first win of the season, trying to get off the struggle bus. Tatertown not in good shape. after a humiliating blowout loss to something called Duke in football. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. How did Duke and Kansas have a total of 3 wins and Clemson has a total of 0 in football? I don't know. It's some kind of Twilight Zone shit here. This is some kind of like Twilight Zone shit here. I don't know. All right, we'll come back to the games in a second and take a look at the afternoon games. Zach Fluharty, thank you for the super chat. He says Emory Doodoo Jones gets bullied by Pitt today. Oh, I think we read that one already. Yeah, so we're caught up there. What do y'all think about the noon games? What are y'all going to be watching at noon? If you could only watch one noon game, what would you watch? If you could only watch one, what would it be? Kind of like that Notre Dame at NC State game. I think that could be interesting. Baylor Man says, I'm going to Utah Baylor, so there's that. Well, I don't know what to tell you. Number 22, Colorado this week. Will the rise or fall? Well, if they win, they'll rise. If they lose, they'll fall. So, of course, they're going to fall because they're losing by 40 or 50 points or 100 points maybe. Maybe by 500 points. Maybe by 500 points. The Gred says, sadly, I got to clock into work at noon. That is sad. That's real sad, actually, on a football Saturday. God. I've been there, though. I've been there. I put my years in working weekends. I'm done with that. Well, mostly. Colorado at Nebraska is the only noon game I'd watch today. Wow. That's surprising. It's the only game you'd watch, huh? I can't relate to that. I cannot relate to that. How many weeks will it take for Notre Dame to completely shit the bed and expose themselves? You telling me right now you'd pick Ohio State to beat Notre Dame in week 4? Is that what you're telling me? If that game was played today, you'd pick Ohio State to beat Notre Dame on the road at Notre Dame? I wouldn't. Now, the game's not played today. It's played 2 weeks from today. So we'll see what Ohio State looks like the next couple of weeks. But if that game was played today, Notre Dame would be favored. Ohio State did not look good last week. So in terms of how many weeks it'll take, well, their next toughest game after Ohio State, I believe, is Clemson. You're going to pick Clemson over Notre Dame? I wouldn't. And their next toughest game after that is Southern Cal. So it might take 2 months for them to get, if that's what you're asking. Because I don't know who else you think they're losing to. Have you watched any Notre Dame? Notre Dame looks good. We'll see what they do today. Like I said, a first Power 5 opponent. But, man, they've looked really, really good in week 0 and really, really good in week 1. Really good in week 1. All right, let's take a look at the afternoon games. Kentucky plays at 3, streaming only on ESPN+. They host Eastern Kentucky. BYU, as mentioned earlier, hosts Southern Utah, also streaming on ESPN+. The 3:30 CBS game, UNLV at Michigan. Michigan should roll there. Here's a great game, Ole Miss at Tulane. Now, when I did my series of preseason prediction videos, when I did my Ole Miss video, I picked Tulane to win this game. I still think they have a chance to win, but I'm not as confident as I was in the preseason. I was impressed with Ole Miss last week, specifically their ability to throw the ball. That's an area where they've struggled. You know, they were a great running team last year. They led the SEC in rushing last year. They were a great rushing team, but they struggled throwing the ball. Now, I realize they played an inferior opponent, but they looked better last week, to me, throwing the ball, than they did at any point last year. If they can keep that up, they definitely can win this game on the road at Tulane. Now, for my picks, I still took Tulane in the points. We'll look at all the latest odds after we go through the list of games and see if any of these lines have changed. But I took Tulane at -7.5 a few days ago. I think Tulane can keep this thing close. That quarterback they got's the real – he may be an NFL quarterback. I'm not saying he's getting drafted in the first round, but he's really good. You know, it's the same quarterback. If you watch the bowl game they played against Southern Cal, it's the same quarterback. Michael Pratt, I believe is his name, or Pratt. Last week he was like 14 of 15 for 300 yards. And he can run around too. This is going to be look, there's some good games on at 3:30. I won't be streaming during any of the 3:30 game. I can't stream all 3 time slots. If by the time I get to the primetime games, I'm just not worth a shit. I just can't do it. I'm too old. So I'm streaming all the noon games on YouTube. Like I said, come hang out at noon. We'll watch all the noon games together. And then the Patreon stream today will be the primetime games for Texas and Alabama. You know, the Patreon members vote every week on which time slot they want me to stream. And then if I can stream a second time slot, I do on YouTube. And that's what I'm going to do today at noon. But the Patreon stream will be tonight at 7. So I won't be streaming during any of these 3:30 games. But, man, there's some great 3:30 games on today. This Ole Miss Tulane game, Texas A&M at Miami. You know, I honestly believe if Texas A&M loses today, that Jimbo Fisher will be fired at the end of the season. Not specifically for losing this game, but I just feel like if Texas A&M is not good enough to beat Miami, then they've probably got 4 or 5 more losses on their schedule at a minimum. And I just don't know that they're going to keep Jimbo if he has a 6 or a 7 win season. Now, I don't think Texas A&M is going to lose today. I picked them to win and cover. Texas A&M is another team that impressed me offensively in week 1. And yes, I know they played New Mexico, but again, they scored 52 points. They never scored 52 points last year. And they played 3 really bad teams, non-con last year too. So, in fact, they only got into the 30s twice last year. Their offense was horrendous. Looked way better. And we all know how much talent is on that team. That's why it's so funny every time they lose, 5, 6, 7 games a year. If they get it together offensively, because they've had a top 10 defense for the last 3 or 4 years. So if they get it together offensively, they can be a good team. We'll find out more today, but the Bobby Petrino experiment seems to be working at least through the first week. On the road at Miami, Texas A&M is about a 3 or 3.5 point favorite. Again, we'll look at all the latest lines, the up-to-the-minute odds here in a few minutes, but I like Texas A&M on the road in that one. Miami can't give tickets away. That's a damn shame. I don't understand. I don't understand Miami fans that live in and around Miami or within 4 or 5 hour drive. If I was, I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. They can't sell tickets to this game, Miami. They're trying to give them away. You can walk up to the box office and buy a ticket to this game today, and they then will give you a free ticket to the Georgia Tech game later in the season. They're doing buy one, get one free just to try to get people in the door. And this is a big game for both teams. I don't get it. 3:30 on ABC, but that'll be a good one. Iowa at Iowa State, rivalry game. This game's always, well, not always. This game's usually close. Not a lot of offense in this game, but usually an exciting game, at least down to the end. Iowa at Iowa State, 3:30 on Fox. What else do we got here? Kent State at Arkansas. This is not last year's Kent State, that I can tell you. Kent State was good last year. In fact, they were too good. They were so good, the Power 5 just completely raided their roster and their coaching staff. Their head coach is now the offensive coordinator at Colorado, and almost every single starter that was any good that they had got poached by a Power 5 team. Kent State's going to be terrible this year. Arkansas will roll. KJ Jefferson should have another big game. Tulsa at Washington at 5. I like Washington. Might have the best defense in the Pac-12. Michael Penix, Heisman caliber quarterback. They should roll. Austin Peay at Tennessee. It's a name your score game. Again, with these games, if Tennessee wants to win the game 100-0, they can, or they can win it 45-10 and get all the second, third, and fourth string players a bunch of experience and try to develop their depth. It's up to Tennessee what they want to do there. App State at North Carolina, another really good game today. North Carolina's favored by like 18. Well, remember this game last year? App State scored 40 points in the fourth quarter. There were 60 points total scored in the fourth quarter of this game. In one quarter. Probably the wildest game of the year. This game last year was probably the wildest game of the year. App State at North Carolina, 5:15 on the ACC network. North Carolina, of course, beat South Carolina last week. They're 1-0. SMU at Oklahoma. I think Oklahoma wins easily. I know SMU's been an improved team over the last few years. I have a feeling Oklahoma puts it on them. That's streaming only, ESPN+. Duke looks to improve to 2-0 after absolutely destroying something called Clemson last week. They play Lafayette at 6. West Virginia, they better win this one. West Virginia hosts Duquesne. They better win this game, because if they don't, they're probably going 0-12. And I think they will win. But there ain't a lot of wins on West Virginia's schedule. This is one of them. They better find a way to get it. That's streaming only as well. UAB at Georgia Southern. Shout out to Georgia Southern, but I like UAB in that one. Cincinnati at Pittsburgh tonight at 6:30. Pittsburgh's favored in this one. Where's this one at? I picked Cincinnati. I took Cincinnati into points. Where's this one? I took Cincinnati +7. Some people are high on Pitt and giving them a shot maybe to make the ACC title game, and maybe they will. But I'm going to take Cincinnati into points in that one at 6:30 on the CW network. Yeah. It comes on 6:30 on the CW network right after an 8-hour marathon of Dawson's Creek reruns. Texas at Alabama, the biggest game of the day, no question about it. Number 11, Texas at number 3, Alabama, 7 o'clock on ESPN. I took Texas and the points. I'm hoping for a good game here. I want one of these big games to live up to the hype. LSU and Florida State ended up being a blowout. Clemson and Duke ended up being a blowout. Florida and Utah was never competitive. I feel like some of the bigger games so far haven't really lived up to the hype. I mean, Colorado and TCU last week was a great game, but most of the bigger games that people were talking about all offseason that have already been played have been blowouts. I'm hoping this one will be close. We'll see. I took Texas in the points in that one. Oregon on the road at Texas Tech. A weird line here. Texas Tech dribbled down their own leg last week, lost to a group of 5 team. Oregon beat Portland State like 80-7 or some just ridiculous number. Yet Oregon is only about a touchdown favorite on the road at Texas Tech. And Texas Tech has been a popular pick this week with the points, and a few people even picking Texas Tech with the outright upset. I just don't see it happening. I like Oregon to win big. I think Oregon is legit, I think. Well, Oregon was legit last year, and no one wanted to hear it just because Georgia beat them 49-3, but Oregon's going to be good again this year, no matter how mad it makes you. I don't even care how mad it makes you. Central Florida at Boise State. I think Central Florida wins big. What has happened to Boise State? Back before the playoff era, Boise State was like the standard when it came to non-Power 5 teams. And it just seems like since the playoffs have started, they've just done nothing but go downhill. They got blown out last week by Washington, I believe it was, or whoever they played. I think UCF goes up there and gets the win. Houston at Rice. Like Houston in that one. Grambling at LSU. LSU should pick up their first win. That's streaming only on SEC or ESPN Plus. Wisconsin at Washington State, another interesting game, 7:30 on ABC. Wisconsin is a favorite. I think they're about a touchdown favorite. And I actually like Wisconsin to win the game, but I'm going to take Washington State in the points. I think that's going to be closer than some people think. I do like Wisconsin. I'm high on Wisconsin. I got them going 10-2 and making the Big Ten title game, and they looked good in week 1. But I think this one may end up being a little closer than some people think. I'll take Washington State in the points, but I do think Wisconsin will win. McNeese at Florida. I talked about that one at the beginning of the game. McNeese is absolutely terrible. It's been funny to run around the internet all week talking about Florida losing to McNeese State, but it's just not going to happen. McNeese is absolutely horrible. They got blown out by Tarleton State last week. I don't even know what that is. Tarleton State sounds like the college version of Bishop Sycamore. Like, I wouldn't be at all surprised if next week we found out that there is no such thing as Tarleton State. Like, it's just all made up. And they blew out McNeese. Florida should do the same. Their first home game, 7:30 on ESPNU. Arizona at Mississippi State. This could be a good game, too. I think Arizona's the better of the two Arizona schools. Not sure if they're good enough to pick up this win on the road in Mississippi State, though. Both teams won last week. Mississippi State's favored by just over a touchdown. I probably wouldn't bet this game, but I do like Mississippi State to win. 7:30 SEC Network. Furman at South Carolina. Now, here's one where things could go completely sideways. Now, I do think South Carolina will win this game. But as far as FCS teams are concerned, Furman is no pushover. I think they're even ranked in the top 10 somewhere in the FCS poll. Again, I would be surprised if South Carolina lost, but this is a dangerous situation for South Carolina after being told all week how terrible they are and everybody just shitting on them all week long while Shane Beamer runs around blaming hot dogs and chain crews. If South Carolina loses this game, things are going to get bad for Shane Beamer. UCLA at San Diego State. I like UCLA big there. CBS 7:30. Why in the fuck is this game coming on CBS in primetime? UCLA at San Diego State on CBS? Why? Why? I don't understand that. I don't understand that at all. Southern Miss at Florida State. They should roll. ACC Network at 8:30. Shouldn't be a problem for Florida State. UC Davis at Oregon State. DJ Ukulele's going to have another amazing game. My bet with Pigskin Pete is looking better and better by the second. Me and Pigskin Pete have a bet. DJ Ukulele versus Cade Klubnik. The bet involves 3 different stats. Whichever one of us wins 2 out of the 3 stats wins the bet. The stats are total yards, completion percentage, and total touchdowns. And, of course, the ukulele is miles ahead in all 3 categories after week 1. No surprise to anybody other than Pigskin Pete. Stanford on the road at Southern Cal. What's up with – there's several good games on 10:30. Stanford at Southern Cal at 10:30. Auburn at Cal, 10:30. Oklahoma State at Arizona State, 10:30. These are 3 games worth watching, I think. Hell, I'll watch them. Southern Cal should beat Stanford. Stanford not very good. Southern Cal on a roll. Caleb Williams, that offense looks really good. We'll see what the defense looks like. Auburn at Cal, potential upset alert here for Auburn. They are favored, but only by about 6 points on the road at Cal. And then Oklahoma State at Arizona State. 2 teams that did not look good in week 1. But I actually like Oklahoma State to win there. That's 3 interesting games on late at 10:30 for the Night Owls like me. You know, college football is a sickness and a disease for me. I just can't help it. Shout out to Emory Jones killing it at Cincinnati, says Gator Zone. Yeah, we talked about that earlier. 7 touchdowns last week Emory Jones had. step up in competition this week for him in Cincinnati. They got to travel and play on the road at Pitt, but I think that'll be a good game. I'm going to watch it. Junkyard Dog, thank you for the super chat. He says, is there anything you want to see out of Georgia today that we didn't see last week specifically? I know it's Ball State, but O-line needs to do more. Yeah, I'd like to see the offensive line get a little more push on running plays than what we saw last week. And Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint will be back today. Don't know how much he'll play again because I expect Georgia to be up, early or big pretty early in the game. But I'd like to see Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint get a couple of catches. He's wide receiver 2. Really. Georgia was without its top 2 wide receivers last week, Ladd McConkey and Marcus Rosemy-Jacksaint. Marcus Rosemy will be back this week. Ladd McConkey, I'm not so sure. I think they're probably going to hold him out another week and then play him next week against South Carolina would be my guess there. And then is one of the running backs going to kind of separate themselves from the other? How does Kendall Milton look? He's still not quite 100%, even though he played in week 1. He's probably somewhere between 80 and 90%. Does he look a little bit better this week? Andrew Paul, does his workload increase? He's coming off that ACL tear last offseason. So he got a handful of carries last week. That was his first time playing football in over a year, since high school for him in his case, right? Does he get a few more carries today? And if he does, how does he look? And then that freshman Roderick Robinson, do they kind of try to bring him along a little? Those are some things I think worth watching for in the Georgia game. Slim Shady Canes, thank you for the super chat. He says, when Jimbo loses today, he should get a special "Your Career is Over" video. Well, he won't get a special "Your Career is Over" video, but if Texas A&M loses, they will get a prominent segment tomorrow in the "Your Season is Over" video. Probably the longest segment. Probably the longest segment. And he'll deserve it if that's the case. He'll deserve it if that's the case. All right, what are we eating today? This is my favorite part of the show, but what are we eating today? I actually, I went all out last week, 5 straight days. I did chicken wings and boiled peanuts and made a cheese ring and a Chex Mix and peanuts. I mean, you name it. It was ridiculous. Last night, I had, what did I have last night? Oh, I had vegetable. I had like celery and ranch dressing last night during the game. But so I don't know what all I think we're going to actually order something in tonight for the primetime games. I'm probably just going to eat a couple of sandwiches or something for lunch today. And I've still got a lot of that crap left from last week that I either need to, that's the thing. If I go out and do all new shit this weekend, then I'm going to end up throwing away all that shit from last week. And I need to eat more of that cheese ring today and then probably just throw it away. I've still got boiled peanuts in there. I'm going to eat a couple of sandwiches, I think, for lunch. But then I think for dinner, we're going to order something in. I don't know what yet. We're going to decide this afternoon, but I think we're going to either order something in like Uber Eats or the lady's going to go pick something up. I think she's just picking something up. I think she's just picking something up on the way here. But don't know what that is yet. Going to figure that out this afternoon, I guess. And then next week, of course, chicken, because playing South Carolina. So I'll have some kind of chicken next week, whatever kind of chicken that happens to be. We'll figure it out. But what are y'all eating today? Let me see what's going on in the comments section. Percent Better says T-Bones. Well, you can't go wrong with that. You better be getting you some Tommy fries if you're going to T-Bones. You can't go wrong there. Sir UJ, I see the Cash App. I'm going to go through all the Cash Apps and PayPals at the end of the show and add everybody's name to the wheel. Again, anybody that sends a Cash App or a PayPal, your name gets added to the wheel. At the end of the show, we spin the wheel. If the wheel lands on your name, then you get an opportunity to win some money. That's how that works. The PayPal and Cash App links are in the description of the video, and I'll post them in the comment section there. Chunky Nothing says grilled steak and ribeye. I had a ribeye for dinner last night. I cooked a ribeye and those potatoes au gratin or whatever they are, like the potato. It comes in a box, It's like I think it's called potatoes au gratin. Anyway, they're like sliced potatoes with like this cheesy creamy mix you put in it and bake it in the oven. I think it's called potatoes au gratin. Anyway, that's what I had. I had a ribeye last night. The ribeye was really, really good. The potatoes were okay. I mean, it's potatoes in a box. You can't expect too much, but it was okay. Cowskin Carl says spaghetti and meatballs. Hoghead's not cooking nothing today. Okay. Gator Zone says chicken and dumplings. That's one of my favorite meals, chicken and dumplings. It's a little too hot to eat chicken and dumplings, right? When it's hard for me to eat chicken and dumplings or any type of soup when it's still 100 degrees outside here. So I'll wait a few weeks on the chicken and dumplings. Homemade minestrone, says Frank the Tank. Next week should be chicken and hot dogs. Yeah, chicken and hot dogs, yeah. Roasted bucknut, says Fox Mulder. Dabo's Philosophy says order Logan's. Logan's is okay. I like the salads at Logan. Chunky Nothing grilled steak. Maryland steamed crabs. Now that sounds good. I can eat my body weight in crab. I absolutely love it. Mr. Kraken says he might do some Chinese. Sausage balls? Oh, God, I love sausage balls. You make them with the Bisquick sausage and cheese? Is that how you do it? Oh, man. I usually make that every year for on Christmas. That's like my contribution to the family Christmas party every year. I make sausage. I show up with a big tray of sausage balls for people to snack on before we eat dinner later that day. Man, I love sausage balls. Over easy eggs and avocado toast.
Oh my God.
I'm going to have to say no on the avocado toast. Why not? Why don't you just get you some regular toast with some butter? I don't even know what avocado toast is, but I just know I'll never eat it. Chicken wings over charcoal. Chicken tacos. Philly cheesesteak sounds good. I love it. A good chili fees steak. I love a good Philly cheesesteak. I do. Turkey burgers.
Oh my God.
What the fuck are y'all doing? Are y'all Pac-12 people? This guy with the turkey burger and this guy with the avocado toast, y'all have got to be Pac-12 people. What in the absolute fuck? What? There's no such thing as a turkey burger. A burger is beef. You got to come up with if people want to eat turkey like that, that's fine, but they got to come up with a different name. You can't be calling it a turkey burger. A burger is beef. I don't know what's going on with the avocado toast and the turkey burger. I don't support that. I don't support that. Salmon salad. I like salmon and I like salad. I don't like any meat or fish in my salad though. Like these people who get like these chicken Caesar salads, I don't get it. If I want grilled chicken, I'll order grilled chicken. If I want a salad, I'll order a salad. I don't want grilled chicken in my salad. And I definitely don't want salmon in my salad. That just sounds disgusting, to be honest. And I love salmon. But salmon in a salad just sounds sick to me. 6 foot sub times 2. You're eating 12 feet worth of subs today? I hope you have a lot of people coming over. Lou, do you eat breakfast? Not regularly. Maybe a couple of days a week I'll eat breakfast, but not usually. And by eating breakfast, it'll be like a breakfast bar or a banana. And then maybe a couple of times a month, usually on Sundays, sometimes I'll cook breakfast like bacon, eggs, whatever. But it's not normal for me to eat breakfast, no. I know that's bad, but I just don't normally eat breakfast. I normally drink my breakfast. By the time I drink 3 cups of coffee, I just don't want to eat anything. That's the problem. That's a me problem. Pulled pork nachos. I like pork nachos. I like chicken nachos better, but I like pork nachos too. Bacon and eggs on the Blackstone is great. Yeah. Yeah. Bacon, eggs, and brisket, says J.E. Yeah, y'all. Oh, gumbo. You eating gumbo today, Octavian? I love a good bowl of gumbo. Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. Yeah, y'all eating some good food today. Fried McNeese steak. That's cowskin Carl. Yeah, that sounds good. Y'all are eating good today, it looks like. It looks like y'all are eating good today. All right, let's take a look at the latest odds on these games and try to see if we can pick out some best bets or figure out a way to make or lose some money betting on these games. Let's see. I'm not going to talk about them all, obviously. Vandy and Wake Forest. Of course, I took Vandy plus 10. I need them to win for that bet. I made a bet that Vanderbilt was going to win more than 3.5 games, so 4 games or more. So, and that's never a guarantee with Vandy. So I need every win I can get. So I've got my fingers crossed on Vanderbilt plus 10 today over Wake Forest. Nebraska at Colorado. I got Nebraska plus 3 because they're going to win by 100. Notre Dame at NC State. I like Notre Dame minus 7 on the road at NC State. I've seen people picking this as an upset game too. Now I'll have to see it to believe it. And look, I've spent a lot of time pointing and laughing at Notre Dame on this channel over the years. I don't know that and I know who Notre Dame played through the first 2 weeks. I don't know. It's been a long time since I've seen Notre Dame look as good as they looked during the first 2 weeks. They look really good. We'll find out more about them today. This is their first game against a Power 5 opponent. It's on the road, but they have looked really good through the first 2 weeks. Utah at Baylor. I just don't see how Baylor wins this one. Lost a group of 5 last week. Utah's had a couple of extra days to prepare because they played on Thursday back in week 1. Georgia's a 42-point favorite over Ball State. Georgia, I believe, is 1-6 against the spread in their last 7 games where they've been favored by 40 or more. I wouldn't bet Georgia minus 42 here. Like I said earlier in the show, I think Georgia's more likely to beat an SEC team by 40 when they're favored by 20 than they are to beat a group of 5 team by 45 when they're favored by 42. Now, that doesn't mean Georgia can't win. I wouldn't bet on Ball State. I just wouldn't bet this game at all. But Georgia could win this game 75-10 if they wanted to. But that's not usually Georgia's goal when they play in these types of games. They get the starters out early. They try to rotate a bunch of different players in and out. They try different things that maybe they're looking to try against a different opponent down the road. I don't trust Georgia in these spots here with these big spreads, so I would leave that game alone. But I do think Georgia wins easily and by a lot. Purdue at Virginia Tech. If anybody even watches this game, never mind bets on it. You've got bigger problems even than I have. This has got to be the worst game in the history of college football right here. Purdue and Virginia Tech. James Madison at Virginia. Look at this. James Madison's favored by 6.5. Now, when we looked at the schedule of games earlier, I told you James Madison could win that game. I didn't know they were favored. Boy, why do they even have football in the state of Virginia anymore? I don't know. What else we got that's interesting here? Look at Clemson favored by 49. I'll take Charleston Southern. I'll take Charleston Southern in the 49 points. Ole Miss and Tulane. Tulane's getting 7.5 points. I like Tulane getting 7.5. I picked Tulane in the offseason to beat Ole Miss in this game, but Ole Miss looked better in week 1 than I thought they would. I like how their passing game has come along. They appear to be a much better passing team than what we've seen the last couple of years, and, of course, they're still going to be great on the ground with Quinshon Judkins, and Jackson Dart can run around too. But Tulane is no joke. I mean, this is a lot of the same players are back from last year's Tulane team that beat Southern Cal in the bowl game. The quarterback is back. who went off in that game against Southern Cal in week 1. Michael Pratt, I think is his name. He was like 14 of 15 for 300 yards. Tulane can play. Tulane's not going to be intimidated. This isn't one, oh my God, we're playing an SEC team. Tulane's not intimidated, and this is the game of the year for Tulane. I like Tulane to keep this thing close and potentially pull off the upset. I'll take the green wave and the 7.5 points. Texas A&M at Miami. Through week 1, and it's just 1 week, but through week 1, the Bobby Petrino experiment is a massive success. They scored 52 points last week. I don't care who it was against. That's almost twice as many points as they scored in any single game last year. I think they only got into the 30s twice last year. Scored 52 last week. Connor Wegman looks amazing at quarterback. Miami looked good too. They looked good running the ball. They stopped the run, which was 2 areas they struggled with last year. Tyler Van Dyke's going to have a hell of a game if Miami wants to stay in this one. I like Texas A&M -3 there. Iowa at Iowa State, the over-under is 36. That's about the lowest over-under you're ever going to see in a college football game. I actually like Iowa -3.5, I think. I think I picked Iowa. Did I pick Iowa State earlier in the week when I made my pick? I'm having a hard time on this one. I can't even remember what I picked earlier in the week, but I actually like Iowa to win by more than 3.5 in that one. So I've either changed my mind or agree with my earlier pick. Either one, I don't know. Kent State and Arkansas. Arkansas is favored by 38.5. That seems like a lot of points. Don't get sucked in, though. This is not last year's Kent State team. They lost all their coaches and players to the portal. I wouldn't bet this game, but this isn't going to be a last year deal where Kent State kept it close with multiple Power 5 teams, including UGA. Tulsa at Washington. Washington favored by 32.5. That's a lot of points, but I do think Washington will win comfortably, but I don't know if I would lay the 32.5. I probably won't bet that one. App State at North Carolina. North Carolina is favored by 19.5. I'll take App State in the points. I think North Carolina will win, but I'm going to take App State in the points. SMU at Oklahoma. Oklahoma favored by 16.5. I like Oklahoma to cover here. I like what I saw last week from Oklahoma. They looked really good offensively and defensively. Again, you can say the same thing you're telling me about all the other teams we talk about. I know they played a terrible, shitty, nothing burger of a team. I know. They still looked better to me than they looked last year. So, and SMU, I think, is headed in the wrong direction compared to where they've been at over the last couple of years. I like Oklahoma to win by more than 16.5. Cincinnati at Pitt. I'd much rather get 7. For those of you who are real degenerates like me, I would buy this up to 7. I like Cincinnati, but I would buy this up to 7. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it. You're probably not betting the game anyway, but I would probably buy that up to 7. But I like Cincinnati there. Texas at Bama. I'm going to stick with my offseason pick here. Jalen Milroe looked better in week 1 throwing the ball than I thought he would look, but this is a big step up in competition versus Middle Tennessee State. So I'll be curious to see 2 things when it comes to Jalen Milroe specifically. When he's pressured, can he be accurate with the ball? And number 2, when Texas pressures him, can they keep him in the pocket or does he escape? Because if he gets out, that's a problem. That's a problem. No one doubts Jalen Milroe's ability once he passes the line of scrimmage with the ball in his hand. He's one of the most dangerous players in college football with the ball in his hand once he passes the line of scrimmage. So can Texas get to him and contain him and keep him in the pocket? And if they do, how accurate can Milroe be with the ball under pressure? And for the running game with Alabama, which running back? Jalen Milroe can't be the leading rusher, I don't think, today, like he was last week, or I think Alabama will lose. Texas offensively, Quinn Ewers is going to have the game of his life. He's got the weapons around him to do it. And it's time for Quinn Ewers to win a big game. Beating Oklahoma last year seems almost meaningless considering how bad Oklahoma was last year. And that's about the best win he's ever had. I think he's 1-4 against ranked opponents. Quinn Ewers, 1-4 against ranked opponents. He's going to have the game of his life. But I'm going to take Texas in the 7 points. I'm going to stick with my offseason prediction and go down with the ship. Texas +7. Oregon on the road at Texas Tech. I'm going to be the sucker that falls for it. I'm taking Oregon -6. This seems like a silly-ass line. This seems like Oregon should be favored by closer to 14. Usually when that's the case, it means Vegas knows something that I don't know, and I'm an idiot. Well, I'm going to be an idiot. I'm going to take Oregon on the road and lay the 6 points. I'm a believer in Oregon's defense, and I think Bo Nix is going to have another monster year. Central Florida at Boise State. I like Central Florida to win by more than 3. Not sure what's happened to Boise State over the last decade, but pretty much in the toilet. Wisconsin at Washington State. This is down to 5.5. I liked it earlier in the week when it was 6.5. I probably would stay away from it now. Wisconsin was a 6.5-point favorite earlier in the week, and I took Washington State. I probably would not take Washington State at 5.5. I'd probably stay away. I do think Wisconsin wins the game. UCLA at San Diego State. I like UCLA. Big, huge, hugely. Arizona at Mississippi State. I'll take Mississippi State -9. But I think this could potentially be a good game. Stanford at Southern Cal. Southern Cal favored by 29. I'm not going to bet this game, but for pick purposes, I'll take Southern Cal and lay the 29. I think Stanford's really, really bad. Auburn at Cal. I'm going to take Auburn, but boy, the SEC has not fared well in these Power 5 matchups this year. There's no sugarcoating it. They've looked bad. But I'm going to take Auburn and lay the 5.5. Oklahoma State at Arizona State. I like Oklahoma State to win by more than 2.5. There you go. There you go. That is all the latest lines, odds, spreads, over-unders for all of today's games. That's how you win or lose money betting on college football. There you go. There you go. What's the lock of the week? What's the lock of the week? You've got $100 to your name, and you have to bet it all on one game today. What's the one game what's the one game you're betting your last $100 on? Jackpot says Alabama to cover. Kirby's Belt says Furman -17.5. Easy money. Furman's not -17.5. They're an underdog. They're not favored. Jeremy likes Nebraska on the money line. Oregon to cover, says Grayson. Rackdog likes Ole Miss. Gator Gang likes Oregon. Tulane over Ole Miss, says Carl. Oregon -7.5 seems like a lock, says D. Hoghead likes Tennessee -62.5. Devin likes Notre Dame -7.5. David Hunt says Oregon -6. A lot of you on Oregon. Dylan likes Colorado to win by more than 3. Notre Dame -7, says Inverted Thrills. Kirby's Belt likes Furman +17.5. Sir UJ likes Oregon. David says Auburn to cover. Stingray says Longhorns by a field goal. Account 22 says Nebraska is a lock. Of course it is. Of course it is. Nebraska might win that game by 50. They might win that game by 50. Ole Miss -7, says Tyler Gilbert. Yeah, I like Tulane. I think that one's up to 7.5, too. If I remember right from a minute ago. Joe Duck likes Oregon to cover. Nebraska might surprise Colorado. Colorado got the big head already. Alex Rodriguez likes Oklahoma first half -9. Yeah, I would agree with that. Dabo's philosophy likes Charleston Southern plus the points against Clemson. Nebraska is thing of the past, says Dylan. Buckeyes go off and cover, says LB 426. Sports Talk 101 likes Texas to cover. Y'all are all over the place. App State plus 19.5. I like that one. Nebraska 25, Colorado 33, says B Bean. Kevin Badger likes Wisconsin to cover. All right, last chance to get your name in on the wheel. We're going to do the wheel here in just a few minutes. So, again, any Cash App, any PayPal that you sent during today's show will get your name on the wheel. I'm going to pull up the PayPal and the Cash App in just a second and start adding names to the wheel. So, if you want to get on the wheel, we're going to spin the wheel. Whatever name the wheel picks, you can pick any game you want today. You can either pick it against the spread, any game you want today against the spread. And if you win, I'll send you back twice what you sent me. We're then going to pick a second name. And you know what I'm going to do for the second name? I'm going to give away, I meant to show this earlier. Here's what we'll do for the second name today. We gave away some Uncle Lou coffee last week. This week we'll give away a shirt. Any shirt you want from the Uncle Lou store. But look at there's some amazing selections here. Look at this one. How about that? Don't you want a Poverty since 1998 shirt? You should. You 100% should. And then where's the other one? Oh, look at this one. This is the newest one. Florida was ranked 28th for 1 week in August. But anyway, the second name that the wheel picks, will give away a shirt. We'll give away a shirt. Here's the link to the shirt store so that if you win, you can go to the website, figure out what shirt you want. You'll have to email me your address and what size T-shirt you want. But there you go. There you go. All right, let's pull the wheel up. See what's going on with the wheel today. Random name picker wheel? No, that's not it. Where is it? Where is it? Wheel of names? There we go. Here it is. All right. Let's erase last week's names. All right. And we're going to put up this week's names. I'm going to start with the Cash App. We'll start with the Cash App. We'll add everybody's name. Let's see. Let's pull this up here. All right. Okay. Let's go there. Up first. Mark S. Jeremy T. Sir UGA. John H. Jesse E. Carter H. Nicholas J. There we go. Let me make sure I got them all. Mark A, Jeremy T, Sir UGA, John H, Jesse E, Carter H, Nicholas J. All right, that's the Cash App. On to the PayPal. Here we go. Here we go. All right. PayPal. Barry P. Nicholas J. Hold on. Hold on. What is going on here? Hold on a second. The PayPal is screwing up. Here we go. All right. All right. Now we're good. All right, we'll take those two off. All right, here we go. That was my fault. I was looking at the wrong list. Hoghead. Got you on the wheel. I know what I'm doing, I promise. J.R. Swaggy Man. The Rabbit King. Gorilla Man. Gorilla Man. Zeus. Barry P with an apology note for having diarrhea of the mouth yesterday. Colby. Jackpot. I secretly hope Jackpot wins. I'm not going to lie. I really do. I mean that. This is Traction Jackson. Turnbow. I'm going to write it like I say it. Turnbow. You know who you are. Turnbow. Yeah. Neo. I got you, Neo. All right. Go Dogs. David, thank you for the super chat, sir. TriStar says, type louder and faster. I love that sound. Dylan Deloney says, the NFL will never hold a candle college football. I agree. Yeah. I like college football way better than the NFL. Way better than the NFL. Tight. All right. It's time to spin that rigged wheel. All right, let me get it pulled back up. All right, now what we need is... Well, what we need is a... let's pick somebody out of the comment section here. I'm serious about the typing, says TriStar. The both of you Gators are just so sweet together. Broski, what's up, buddy? Broski, pick a number between 3 and 5. Broski, pick a number between 3 and 5. Broski says 5. All right, what we're going to do is we're going to spin the wheel 5 times. Then the 5th name. The 5th name is going to have a chance to win some money. Here we go. Spin number 1. Sir UGA. Spin number 2. Jackpot. Damn. Damn. 3 spins too early, Jackpot. I'm rooting for you, buddy. Spin number 3. Uncle Lou's white gorilla mask. Spin number 4. Spin number 4. Neo. All right, spin number 5. First winner today. Let's see. Who's it going to be? Who's the lucky name today? Rabbit Man? All right, it's Rabbit King. Now let me pull up his note and see if he said what game he wanted to pick, or if I need to ask him. Let's see. Here we go. He says, "This is for my favorite uncle. Go Dogs. I'm Rabbit King on YouTube." Well, Rabbit King, today's your lucky day. Rabbit King, if you're still here, we need to know what game you want to pick today. You can pick any game you want against the spread. If you win, I'll send you back twice what you sent me. If you lose, I'll just send you back whatever you sent me. Either way, you either get your money back or you double your money. You either get your money back or you double your money. Let me know which game you want in the comment section. You said your name was Rabbit King in the comments, so I'm looking for Rabbit King. We're going to give it about another minute or two, and then we're going to respin the wheel. We're going to respin the wheel if I don't see him in a minute. All right, I guess he's gone. Stingray, give me another number 3 through 5. Well, you know what? I'm just going to do 3 this time. Not even going to wait on somebody to pick a number. All right, the 3rd name this time. Looking for the 3rd name this time. Zeus. All right, here's spin number 2. We're looking for the 3rd name. This will be the 2nd. We're looking for the 3rd. J.R. All right, let's see if this person is still here. I am looking for... Oh, no, you got to be shitting me, man. It is a rigged wheel. The hell is going on here? How in the hell? Definitely rigged. It turns out y'all were right the whole time. All right, I'm spinning it just 1 time. First name. Come on. Give me a name of somebody that's still here. John H. He says, "I'll take Vandy and the points." All right, let's get him wrote down. He says Vandy and the points. I believe that was plus 10. I believe that was plus 10. Yes. All right, you got Vandy plus 10. All right. Now let's give a shirt away. Back to the wheel again. All right, third name. Third name. We'll give a shirt away. Here we go. Third name. Come on, Will. Come on, Will. Well, we said third name, though, but golly. Rabbit King again. But we're looking for the third name. That was the first name. All right, name number 2. Neo. All right, so the third name, this one coming up. All right. Third name. Trying to give a T-shirt away. Trying to give a T-shirt away. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. The whole point is I want multiple winners. I don't want the same person to win twice. Sorry, JC. Give me a winner. Give me a winner. Mark S. All right, Mark S. Hopefully you're still in here. You in here? I don't want to say your Cash App name, but so. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. Oh, I guess I can say your Cash App name since it's literally your YouTube name. Go to this link right here. I'll post it again in the comment section. This is my this is the Uncle Lou T-shirt store. Click that link, Mark, and send me an email. My email's in the description of the video, but it's crazyunclelou@gmail.com. But click that link, pick out a T-shirt that you want, and then send me an email with the shirt that you want, an address to send it to, and what size shirt you want. All right. Get it? Got it? Good? All right. Good. Great. Perfect. That's amazing. That's awesome. And also, it's unbelievable. Congratulations. Congratulations. All right, live stream scheduled today. I'll be back on at noon. We'll live stream all. Let me get that shirt. Here you go. Here's the link. You can go get any shirt you want. I ordered the Florida one and the Tennessee one yesterday, so I should be getting it in a couple of weeks, I guess. However long it takes them, I don't know. But I ordered the Florida one. Where is it? I ordered this one. I ordered this one yesterday. I like that one. I'm looking forward to wearing that one. I like that one. I ordered that one yesterday, and I ordered this one. Florida was ranked 28th for 1 week in August. So I'm looking forward to that. But yeah, there's the link. If y'all want a shirt, go get it. Get it while the getting is good. I'll be back at noon to live stream during all of today's noon games. And then the Patreon stream tonight will be at 7 o'clock, which, of course, Texas and Alabama is the marquee game coming up in prime time. But you guys know the deal. I've turned all the games on up here. We'll hang out and watch all the games over on Patreon tonight at 7 o'clock. So noon right here on YouTube, 7 o'clock tonight on Patreon. The link to the Patreon page is in the description of the video. Most of you know how it works by now, but you just go to the Patreon page around 6:45. There'll be a link posted. Just click that link, and it will take you to tonight's Patreon stream, which will start at 7 o'clock, along with the Texas and Alabama games. Shout out to JC. Congratulations and good luck with your Vanderbilt pick. And shout out to Mark Salyers, about to be the proud new owner of whatever shirt he wants from the Uncle Lou store. There you go. There you go. Good luck, everybody. Good luck to everybody's team today. I hope everybody's team wins, unless you're Ball State. Unfortunately, you have to catch an L today. I hope the rest of your teams win. Let's hope for another great day of college football. Some upsets, some great performances, some great games, some down-to-the-wire finishes. Hopefully we get it all today. Again, I'll be back at noon, just over an hour from now. And I'm I'm going to live stream and watch all the noon games. So if you're sitting at home watching college football today like you're supposed to be, come back to the channel at noon. We'll all hang out and watch these noon. Games together. Nebraska and Colorado, Georgia and Ball State, Notre Dame and NC State, I believe, or is that 3:30? Anyway, all the noon games. See y'all back here at noon. Have a good morning.